Today we're going to talk about smart health insurance for healthy people that doesn't break the bank. Are you healthy and happy but worried about the what ifs? If that sounds like it's you, you're gonna love this story. So I'm not gonna mention their names for privacy reasons, obviously, but these clients came to me and it was a couple, and they were a pretty young couple. They were healthy. They hadn't had insurance for years, but they had a baby about a year ago. And so they were just fine paying out of pocket for their own doctor visits for years. And then when they had the baby, they started to pay a little bit more out of pocket because those well visits for the pediatrician were like catching up with them. But it was still manageable. And their idea of what health insurance costs, it just wouldn't have been worth it because they'd rather just pay out of pocket. But then I learned, after acquiring a little bit more about their situation and what their values were, what was really important to them, I learned that their neighbor had a unexpected accident. It was also a baby, and the baby had fallen off a table or something happened that it was an accident, injury related, and the baby ended up being hospitalized for quite a while. They needed surgery. And thank God the baby's fine after all the medical care that it received. But the point is, they were left with all these unexpected medical bills, like astronomical bills, because they did not have health insurance. After thinking about that, these people came to me and they said, look, we just don't want that to happen to us. And, we don't mind paying out of pocket. That's not what we're looking for, but we want to be covered in case of a huge emergency. And they assumed that it was going to be expensive because of last time they looked at insurance on the marketplace, it was just way too much for them, it had been years ago. And so what they asked me for is they were trying to keep the cost down. They asked me for a quote with the baby and each individual parent, just to try to keep the cost down, obviously, and cover the baby. But then that would leave one of the parents out. And so what I did was I ran the quotes that they asked me to, but I also ran a quote for all three of them together. And that's something that they really hadn't thought of. They didn't think that they could afford it. They were really pleasantly surprised to learn how much more affordable the plans had gotten, since there are these PPO underwritten plans that they qualify for because they're young and healthy. And so they had missed that. They had never been presented with that before. And now they learned that we could cover all three of them, get them. You don't want to leave anybody in the family out, right? Everybody's important. They're, and a financial crisis like what happened to their neighbor would really devastate the whole family, not just that person, right? It would be a financial crisis for the whole family. And so we got them all covered, and it was much less than what they thought. So here's the thing. The common misconception here is that the marketplace is the only place to buy individual health insurance, or like to have it through a job. And so a lot of people that are young and healthy don't know that there are these options of having these underwritten plans that only take you if you're healthy, and that way you'll save a lot of money. So if you're in this boat, you're young and healthy, but want to protect against the what ifs, and you're looking for a good agent that will give you all the options, not just the marketplace, reach out to me. You can connect with me on alexthehealthagent.com. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, please share it or like and comment, and I'm excited to meet you.